have you people done? You have turned yourself into sheep, every goddamn one of you.
All right, a great way to start. Welcome to World Blockchain Roundtable. This is episode 147. Our hosts for this week are Sean, everyone's best friend, Lisa from the Mighty Lair, Greg from Rivet. I'm founder and architect of Dragon Chain, and John, our DAO voted forever MC, is still lost in the tunnels of New York. So, if anybody has do we have any awards to find John? I hadn't thought about
a
that.
bounty.
Someone needs to put a bounty out.
Yeah, we could put a bounty out.
All right, we'll try to. If anybody has any
bounty or
extra
a
funds.
enjoy, either one are delicious.
Yeah,
there you go.
You know.
All right. So first update: World Blockchain Roundtable layer ownership governance tokens. The distribution from last week's episode. Every host gets 166. Every topic contributor will get 83. Last week's theme was nominated by I Am for I Am, who will receive 83 lot. And these ownership tokens come with passive income, free edits, and governance votes. Right now, we have an open post for April theme suggestions. Make sure you add your suggestion by next Tuesday. I think we should have. There were a couple from last month that I regretted not voting on that I think we should have in there. So maybe we add those again, or something. But anyway, make some suggestions so we can vote on them next week. The theme of the week this week, I have to pull it up here, is why has Solana blockchain popularity and utility grown recently? Nominated by I Am for I Am. Do you guys have any preceding comments about Solana or the subject matter before we get to questions?
You know, I'm going to try
to down a lot, right?
You know, as super politic as I can about it. They're evolving, right? Like these guys are serious about building the thing. But they started from kind of a pretty big trust me bro kind of place, and so I'm still pretty skeptical.
Yeah, we found, and that's another thing. I think, and I'm going way back. Solana is special because me and my number go up buddy, Tiffs. We didn't touch it. We didn't look at it. We're going through a weird time. But then it blew up, and we were both, why did we miss this? Why didn't we get in on this? Why? So it's hurtful. But then me and Rice, Crypto, we found out they have a back door. They're not, like Greg was politely saying, things were a little trust me. And but people found out about it. They weren't really upfront about it. And then, like Lisa said, it went down. So I wrote it off. I talked shit about it, and then I wrote it off a long time ago, just because those things were very bad and very wrong. And I feel like maybe it's going to be the biggest thing. It'll be the ETH killer. It's going to be wonderful and save us all. But it still was an abusive spouse, and I didn't want to go back to it. So that's why I just wrote it off when I found all that stuff out and all that happened, and then I haven't really cared much, but it is blowing up.
All right. And when you say blowing up, you mean in price or falling apart?
That is
well,
and you do have to ask.
I think in dev, it's also blowing up, right?
Also, the use case, like when I first started paying attention to it, was when Melania chose it for her charity NFTs. And I thought, well, why would she choose that chain specifically? Because it was having all those technical issues. And, it seemed like they were constantly talking about it being the system being down or the chain being broken or whatever the right word is. But then why would, because are the Trump NFTs on Solana too?
No idea.
Well, I think Harold told Melania to pick that one.
Who?
Harold. he's our friend. He's a whiz with blockchain and that crypto stuff. That's how these people pick things.
Yeah.
We don't know shit. All the Congress people, they're morons when it comes to, or they're ignorant when it comes to all
Well,
these.
I'll say something.
So they
I'm gonna
go
add
with
something
whatever
there.
they're told.
That is a very possible scenario, but I do think also that there is a big piece of people who are telling them that are just telling them that with the inside information that they're telling them that. So it's like, okay, oh yeah, you guys should wait a minute. Let me buy some of these. You guys should choose Solana. That's how that shit works. So anyway, all right, I'm going to refresh these so we get some questions. And I think we have some good memes set up, and I think there were some good current events this week.
Speaking of what you just said, didn't Pelosi or what's her name? Pocahontas. I don't want to call her Pocahontas. That's rude, but I forgot her name. Warren.
That's
Didn't they buy a bunch of stock?
Rude to the namesake.
Literally, like 2 or 3 days before something happened with a company, and it blew up.
Over and over again. Yeah, if you could follow their trades, you'd be a
It's pretty.
gajillionaire.
It's pretty typical of everything that happens from Congress, right? Like they're always on the inside track when it comes to things that they're about to blow up or things that they're about to give an unfair advantage to.
Yes, they're all crooks essentially, and we have no control over them. You can vote harder all you damn well want till you're blue in the face, and doesn't matter. They're selected. Okay, so I'm going to refresh again in case there are any new questions. And now we're going to go down to the questions. Before we get to the questions, I do think that so first of all, I'm super happy Dragon Lucky. We're going to announce a Dragon Chain project next week, reveal it essentially. And I think we're going to do something on this show too, but I need to talk to you guys and see if you want to do that or not. But reveal something about that same project next week as well to just show some cool info. So watch next week for sure. All right. Okay. First off, Dayrox. Question: why exactly is Solana pumping? Isn't there a better technology? Several times blockchain has been down. Are they pumping it to make Solana's collapse even more spectacular than Luna's? Or is it a good blockchain? Okay, so each of those questions. What do you guys? You don't have to answer all of them, but Lisa first. What do you think?
Well, I don't know that I'm the best person to answer this, but I have more questions than answers because the two projects, Luna and Solana, are not similar projects at all, in my understanding. So I don't understand why they would think, oh, and I respect Darox. He contributes a lot to the show and comments, but I don't see, I think the FTX thing was, really legacy finance that was just being hidden with or be a cover of cryptocurrency, and then they've tried to blame it on cryptocurrency. Solana, it's my understanding, is an actual project that has a use case, but it does have problems. And I don't know about the backdoor or whatever, but I don't see the two equating for the same reason, just to cause another crypto crash. And I don't think it has that much market cap to cause a crypto crash, does it?
It has what was it? I saw I might be on the next post. A massive amount of
oh my god, yeah.
Locked value.
It's bigger than XRP.
Yeah.
USDC, bigger than Doge.
Wow.
Yeah.
I haven't paid attention to it.
Shiba.
Real quick, I'm going to bring that up. So you say it is, and I don't know what its use case is other than it's a cheaper Ethereum. That's all I've ever heard. Yeah, it's like, oh, you don't want the fees? I'll go to Solana. How do I say this? I do think it's probably all legacy finance. I think it's it's just one of the games they play. Not that Ethereum isn't the same, but that essentially anytime you see that massive amount of money going into something, yes, there's a lot of speculative and a lot of sheep following the herd and saying, well, shit, it's going up. It's not dumb to do that, right? Whether or not you believe in the thing it does or not, if you realize, oh, everybody's going to do this, so I'm going to do it and, make some money. But the problem is that just like with FTX, I ask the same questions, especially within my, close group, is like, where's all that money coming from? I don't know anybody who put money into FTX, right? In the crypto world. Where's all that money coming from? Guess. It's
And it
coming
was all
from
legacy banks. Yeah.
like and people following it who then got screwed, right? And people who took part in their staking stuff and got screwed. And I hope Solana's not that. I have no freaking clue. Luna was, right? I mean, Luna, that guy was a freaking jerk, let alone fraud. So anyway, you know, that's kind of my position on it. Is like it's with the chain going down so many times, with all of the backdoor, all of the things with it, and then this amount of money going into it, you have to think, oh shit, okay, it's something, right? So anyway, Sean, what do you think?
I tell you what I thought in the beginning, but yeah, I do agree that I think the pump in general is a lot of bad guys. You know, I mean, institutional money, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, it's BlackRock. And there's like 5 companies that have bought, you know, gajillions of dollars worth of Bitcoin and are pumping the market. And is it to pump it to because when you really understand just how it works, it's very defeatist. But I mean, when you look at what BlackRock has done to real estate and how an entire generation just accepts the fact they'll never buy a house. I mean, that was like part of it. Wasn't but it was like part of it. It was a little piece of the American dream because it was just assumed you work your butt off, you're going to be able to buy a house. And people are just, they're like, oh, we can't afford it. It's not going to happen. All because the people can print up their money and then pay whatever they want for a house and basically jack the price up to where regular folks who don't have access to the printer can afford it.
They gentrified America.
So they can do that to the crypto market way, way, way easier than they could do it to the real estate market. So maybe they're throwing $1 billion into the crypto market to destroy the crypto market. Maybe. I don't know.
Assuming the dollar has any legs left, right? Like, in order for them to be able to manipulate it, they still have to have a base of strength from which to act, right? And if the dollar is teetering on the brink as much as I suspect it is, then yeah, maybe they're trying to do that, or maybe they're setting it up like that, but they're also kind of still living in a dream world where the dollar is still dominant and the Cold War is still on, and
Greg,
it's still 1992.
The Flower Moon movie, and DiCaprio, he has this thing. He says, "Man, I love money. I just love money," and he says it weird. And then later on in the movie, he says he loves it almost as much as his wife. And I think that's like a really telling thing, because it's not just a saying to him. He's really trying to get across how much he loves money, and people love it. So if it falls, I believe that people are just like, oh, I have to get more of it, unless people understand, oh, it's not real money. Oh, this is a piece of shit. Unless they're
it's an always down shitcoin.
They're just going to want more.
Just step back for a little bit. I mean, it's a pretty obvious game, right? If you and yours are in charge of the money printer, right? What are you going to do? It's like, yeah, you're gonna buy property, you're gonna buy gold.
It's called seniority.
You're gonna buy crypto. You're gonna do whatever you can, and you might do ladder stuff. You're gonna buy crypto. You're gonna pump and dump. You can do all that crap. And guess what? If the laws don't apply to you, even more so. You know, if you're a member, if you're the son of a senator, the son of a vice president, you're gonna be able to do a lot of things. And that's the thing. The
thing is, though, there's still the iron law of the market, right? Like, you can't, just because you put in political levers to money doesn't mean that you take the market out of the commodity, right? It's it's still a market commodity,
Greg, because everybody
knows does matter.
The dollar's failing, and all they have to do
still
is get
matters
out of it
because
as soon as they can.
It still matters because it does destroy it eventually if they manipulate it too much.
Yeah. And all of like, you think about this. Okay, there's crypto. So we invent this this new cash that doesn't have the problems of the other cash. What do they do? In the early days, they spend a couple of $100,000 and come in and take over Bitcoin cripple it to hell, and essentially then start taking over every other crypto and attacking anybody who's trying to build something real. You know, we see all that stuff happen, and what do? We still price everything in goddamn dollars. Number go up,
well,
yay!
I mean, and we don't have to,
70,000,
right?
yay! Stupid.
We don't have to.
No, I'm not saying.
right?
I'll tell you, I don't give a shit about that. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, I leveraged it early days. I bought as much as I could, right? I didn't treat it like an investment though, like I should have. But
well, maybe
funny
we
thing
shouldn't
is,
treat it like an investment.
Right. Maybe you shouldn't. I
Maybe
mean,
we
I
should
think
treat
in
it
the
like
long
what we
run,
want it
I
to
will be
be.
proven right. But guess what? I didn't expect that we would have to have ropes and lampposts in between here and there, which is what I'm suspecting has to happen now, because the people don't want that future that is possible.
Don't worry, the Haitian cannibals are coming. So
well,
take care of it.
the point that I was trying to make though is a little different, right? Like the laws of the market still apply to money, even if you add in extra rules and manipulations that you can make. You can ignore reality for so long, but you cannot ignore the effects of ignoring reality, right? Like ultimately, your money system will fall apart if you manipulate it.
We're in year 111, and I hope that has some meaning for those same people. Because
but I mean, like you can sort of see you can see a scenario where the US dollar falls over because it can't do anything more to be manipulated, right? Like you start to pay down a national deficit that is based on primarily the payment that's on debt service, right? Like if the debt service ever rises above tax revenues, they're going to have to print the rest. That's the end of the dollar.
Isn't it a funny thing that we've been so my youngest has wanted to watch the extended versions of Lord of the Rings, and the funniest thing to me is the analogies as they appear today. That you have the boomer who is 111 years old, by the way, who has the evil ring and had lived great with it, had a great time with his life. He was rich. He had the chest of gold and everything, and he passes this evil onto his nephew, who now has to now take this to freaking Mount Doom.
Right. He didn't get any of the benefit.
It's so funny to me.
Actually, I guess he did get the benefit, if we're being completely fair to Bilbo, right? Because Frodo would have been an orphan. And I get the sense that's not a happy place to be for a hobbit. Based on the way that he, in both the books and the movies, like, I don't know why I took you in, but it was out of selfishness, or it wasn't out of pity. It was out of selfishness, right? Like,
it's just funny. The evil ring has to pass to the young guy who has to, like, it's a totally different picture. Yeah, it wasn't all fun and games when Frodo gets it. Anyway,
no, I'd like to toss in a little bit of not doom on Solana though.
Yes,
because one thing that I have seen from them consistently, and the thing that I think keeps them coming back, is a persistent developer community. People who are trying their damnedest to build the thing. No matter how many times it falls over, they're going to stand it back up again. And they're trying to start from a standpoint of the other side of the line. Like Ethereum went with small block sizes and dispersed infrastructure, and Solana's trying it the large block size, fast processing time route. Right. Ultimately, that's what they're going for.
It's just different VCs with a different formula.
They're looking for centralized infrastructure providers to become a non-thing based on like a decentralized infrastructure network, right? Which could happen for them, but maybe won't fit with the high throughput model that they're looking for. Point being, there's a lot of hope in any place where there are builders who are willing to try until they fail. Someone's gonna have to make them quit.
This is true. Okay.
So
I think we got that. I don't know why they're pumping it. I didn't answer that question. I do have a suspicion that a lot of it is venture capital money. So it's the traditional world, the bankers and various others, mixed in with a lot of good people, of course. And yes, I say bankers are not good people in general. You have to demonstrate it. You might bring me a banker that's a good person. I've yet to see.
I have a banker that's a very good person.
I met some super hardcore developer types at Denver that were that were all about making Solana stable and scalable up to global. So
Yeah, that's a good thing.
I was impressed that with people like that on their side, I think they got a shot, even if the speculators do give them.
And by the way, I wouldn't say that if Solana
too much hype.
If Solana recovers, it'll just be a different choice that you might have a reason still to use Ethereum. I mean, that's what we need in the crypto world, not tribalism.
Exactly.
I don't want Solana to fail.
Could the timing of this have anything to do with the Craig Wright lawsuit thing? And that whole what's the real Bitcoin
level BS? Anything related to Craig Wright? So it's like I guess it might be. Who knows? There's tons of money that flows that way.
Were able to build anything.
Unlimited money. Like if you got rid of the Federal Reserve 111 years later, you wouldn't have a lot of the BS that happens in all parts of society. Crypto is just one of them where it's easy to manipulate something if you have unlimited money. Would it not be? If you had unlimited money, you could do anything you wanted. So guess what? This is one of the things they do, some of them. So next, I am for I am. Reminder, WBRT is about blockchain tech and not price performance. This image is only to show its significant volume increases over the last 5 months, which also shows popularity growth in adoption and price speculation. Most notable is its transaction and trade volume growth over the past 5 months. Wait a minute. He misspelled past. I don't wonder why he misspelled it. You think I'm just joking. Also worth mentioning is Bitcoin did not have this much growth in the past 5 months. Bitcoin only doubled during the same period. That's institutional involvement, I think, on both of those. While Solana did an 8x and ETH did a 2.7x during the same time frame. Question. If all the markets are manipulated to some degree, why do you think is the reason for Solana to become the new darling of crypto? Who chose it to become adopted and why? I thought ETH was the appointed one. So who wants to take that first? Why is it the new darling? Whoever. Oh, Greg made a sound first, so he has to go first.
Shit! The sound I made was I didn't catch the question because I was resetting my sound.
You can pass and I'm joking. You can
Let me see. If all markets are manipulated to some degree, why do you think the reason for Solana becoming darling crypto? Who chose it to become adopted and why? ETH was the anointed one. Okay, so I'm thinking that markets are inscrutable is the right answer, right? I think that people wanted. I think we saw a comment earlier get displayed that puts the whole Solana question that you're asking in clear focus. People who wanted to get in to build on ETH but could not afford to pay the gas fees necessary to even test their apps. Solana was their solution, right? This is the first entry point for a whole new generation of developers who didn't really want to focus on didn't want to focus on price, but wanted to focus on building.
Okay, that's a great answer, Sean.
Yeah.
Is it the darling? Why is it the darling, Sean?
Oh no, I'm not muted. I think I'm getting tired of the darlings of crypto. Like it was AVAX, a few months ago. But then people go and they start building on it, and those projects start to gain notoriety, and then it just dies. Everything that jumped on that bandwagon really just kind of, goes away for a while. I talked about this in what was it? Oh, it was this DEX that was built on AVAX, and they their token shot up. I mean, like hundreds of percent, because they launched right when along with when AVAX was getting so big, And no, not AVAX. The other one, the one that was just the darling.
I don't even know.
Arbitral.
Oh,
Yeah. So that was huge. And then, yeah, AVAX is like that. AVAX is the perfect story because that died, and then Arbitrum came in, and it was the darling, and now that's starting to come back, and the stuff that's built on it is starting to have a resurgence. But and that's why I think a lot of, and I hate Ethereum. I really do. I just am so tired of it. I don't hate it. I'm so
That's
tired.
probably why Solana's pumping, because a lot of people feel that way.
They are, because like I went on OpenSea for some reason, and it was like $45 to buy like a $2 NFT. You know what I mean? The gas is ridiculous. It is not fixed. I'm so tired of the bullshit and the lies. I've had brought Mind Your Biz on here, Seth, and like 2 years ago, he mines Ethereum. Always has all the different ways that you could, and I was like,
"Well, so he's staking now, like as a validator."
Stake, and he's like, "Yeah, they say that, and I'll believe it when I see it, but I'm just going to keep doing what I do." That was 2 years ago. I know people that started up like 10, 15 nodes. I don't know anyone that has a node now because they were so terrible and hard to keep going and required so much bandwidth. I literally, I don't know anyone that's keeping their node going. And it was profitable, but it was a job. They were like, oh no, I had to check it like every hour. I didn't have time to do anything else. He said it would go down constantly. They're complicated, and these are super smart people telling me that it's complicated. That is not. I've mined stuff. It wasn't that complicated. So I understand why things are so attractive to something and that's why the Ethereum killer is what's brought up. It's just a selling point because to prey on people's frustration. With Ethereum.
I mean, and everybody needs an angle in this market, right? Because ultimately, what we're looking at is cooperative, competitive.
right.
And first off, I do have to say, from a purely technical standpoint, whatever you might say about ETH, it's a neat accomplishment. Like it does a lot of cool stuff that seeded a lot of the ideas that a lot of these layer 2s are built on. Some of the ideas are going to be built on, and it still provides some valuable services, as a base layer for something higher up that hasn't really been successful.
That's what I was saying. I noticed this past week or two, certain projects are coming out and they're built on ETH. And I'm like, why did you people do that? Because they're like games, they're like stupid meme coins. Like why would you make this meme coin on ETH? That's dumb.
Stable infra.
Do you know how how expensive this is going to be? This coin is for poor people who want to have fun and be goofy, and then the gas is so ridiculous. Then to have like big taxes on it. It's like
those coins are clearly meant to be targeted at exchanges. They want them on sexes, right? Like they're trying to get them on centralized exchanges so they don't cost anything to trade.
But you could do all that with a meme coin on.
And the fact that Ethereum's biggest recent change didn't fix that, even though that was the advertised reason for the big change, is like we're going to go to proof of stake so that the fees will go down. And it's like, but we're also
proof of stake was a political nonsense piece.
Yeah, but the fees were everybody was waiting on the fees, and then they realized it didn't happen because every time you send something, it burns ETH because the VCs wanted to burn some people to be burning ETH as they're sending it. It's just like, instead of saving me that money, it's going to gain you some of that money. That's why. And they did that on purpose. Yet again, it's just it's the VCs, it's the money people doing it. Lisa, do you have anything on that?
I mean, I'm just not, I don't follow coins like that. Like, I'm just not into the whole price thing. The only thing I've been seeing on the ETH is what I've been reading from Boring Sleuth, which is, where he's got like on-chain very eye-opening, interesting stuff. And so I'm thinking like, why aren't they looking at solutions like Matic or, I guess that's the big push for Solana is, just being that alternative to ETH. Nobody can pay the gas fees. We all know the gas fees aren't legit. If you read Boring Sleuths on-chain data, you can find out where they're going and why. And I think people should find parallel ways of doing things. And I don't know about, I don't know the transparency of Solana or what, if there might be bad stuff happening there too. Is it possible to have a truly decentralized chain without corruption? I don't know.
Well, that's what I say.
Sure.
If you combine them together, and that's what we've tried to do, but guess what? Nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit because all the hype is, and every time, like say this next project, even every time I ask anyone, should we deploy it on Binance Chain? Should we deploy it on Solana? It's always, well, the money's on ETH, right? And so we're like, maybe we're supposed to deploy it on ETH because that's where all the money is. It's so stupid.
Well, there's actually a fair amount of decent theory on density of capital being a basis for building out a network, right? So it's not entirely irrelevant that there's a lot.
Yeah, but it also makes you very easy to manipulate because it's very easy for those powers that be to put all the money in.
Right. I was saying that the decision to go there is, all other things being equal, at least naively intelligent. Like it's intelligible, even if it's not the choice that we all would make.
Yeah. Well, the sooner everybody realizes we're all slaves, the better off, because people will start looking at who's controlling all of these various things and not just
the thing that we can. The counterpoint here, the white pill to that is there are all these alternatives, right? You don't have to go with ETH. You don't have to go with Bitcoin.
Yeah, but you don't think Solana is controlled in the same way? If everybody went to Solana, you don't think it's the same damn story?
Is just one example, right? Just one example.
Oh, Luna, we'll go. Oh, wait, Celsius. Oh, wait. Oh, no. Let's go with Bitcoin. No, wait a minute. Let's go with
how about Farcaster?
It's like, wait a minute. I don't know anything about it. You think if somebody launched a project on that they'd be able to get what they need for volume and activity and people with access? No, because nobody's fucking heard of it, right? It's not something I can just even. I've never even played with it. That's me. I'm freaking Joe Crypto, right? It's ridiculous. So it's like I think the black pill is that they control all of them. And the ones that aren't pumping are the ones that are legit that maybe we should all start using.
What we need first is decentralized infrastructure. And once we have that, then if there are mice willing to play, there will be no more cat.
Okay.
But until we get to the point where we have a world where it's whack-a-mole for every server you want to take down, then we're not going to have a truly decentralized effect, right? Like we're not going to see the effects of a decentralized system destroy the chilling effects of state monopoly over violence until you see decentralized infrastructure emerge. Once that happens, then sort of the governor comes off.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Next question. I am. Solana at the time of this posting is the 5th largest DeFi chain in total value locked. Which this is another freaking stupid marketing thing, I think, in my opinion. And its market valuation is around 73 billion. Solana has been plagued with numerous outages since its beginning, right? And up to very current times. I know personally it's been down 10 times. On February 6th, block production was halted for over 5 hours before validators restarted the network. They had to do it manually, if I remember right. The incidents varied in severity, ranging from partial to total network outages, and their causes included software vulnerabilities in the network and denial of service and resource exhaustion attacks. Quoted link below. And by the way, but I'm going to insert an editorial comment here. Bitcoin has gone down before. If you guys, I lived through when Bitcoin went down. It was an interesting bug. It was very cool how it worked out, but it's not as absolutely decentralized as a maximalist will have you believe. Given these outages has damaged its reputation, I would like to hear members of the panel's opinion on stability. Question: is Solana a stable enough platform to build on? If so, what would you build on it? And are there applications that you would never consider using Solana for? And I'll do his take at the end of our take. So,
It's an
Greg,
interesting question. And
Sean.
as far as I know, I don't think Litecoin has ever went down.
It has not.
Litecoin now has privacy, which we all talked about how they're incorporating privacy into the transactions, which to me is the biggest thing ever. But in the past, like 2 weeks or so, they've incorporated privacy transactions into a mobile wallet.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the fact that the powers that be don't give a crap about Litecoin means they give a big crap about it. I think the fact that they don't talk about it means they don't want it to have any press at all. Like you said, everything has gone down. Everything has had problems. But when it comes to it, there's this one quiet project that people shit on all the time. Litecoin, is that still a project? Is that still around? Is that still a thing?
Meanwhile,
It's
it's
just humming in the
still there.
background, man.
Yeah. It's
It had a few things.
Like
with
Ethereum
the
Classic.
founder
Nobody talks about it
exiting
anymore
and stuff
except
like
to talk shit.
Yeah.
It's
Ethereum
like,
Classic is awesome.
but when you ask questions, there is only like I don't know of any other project besides Litecoin that is a big project with the amount of reach that it has when it comes to wallets, exchanges, just people having access to it, no matter if they're living in the bush and or if they're in a city. And nobody talks about it. No one talks about it, the stability of it. As far as Solana,
I'm saying ETH Classic is another example.
Yep.
As far as Solana goes, I think that I mean it's I think the real question is whether or not you trust it or not. And to me, like I said in the beginning of the show, I wrote it off way back when I was like, hey, this is red flags, but red flags because they didn't bring it up. There was like, oh yeah, that's there, but it's temporary, and here you gotta trust us. And I was like, no, you walk away right away. Don't get in the relationship. Don't do that, because then you're backing a candidate, and when stuff comes out, you're like, oh yeah, but the other guy did this. Because people don't walk away from stuff. Everyone is emotionally invested in their coin or in whatever. Everything now. Everyone is so emotional that they can't just say, yeah, it sucks. Let's screw that. No one does that. And I think that's one of the big things.
Yeah, there's still ride or dies on Luna, aren't there?
Yeah, it's. I mean, there's BitConnect. It didn't go to zero, and I actually saw the BitConnect symbol on some wallet or something that they actually put it in the picture of all the cryptos. Yeah. I mean, so people are not going to give up. It's probably Trayvon. But
it's kind of neat, though, when you think about it, that things can't go away anymore. They can't be made to vanish. They can only be made to diminish.
They can, but yeah,
we're talking about like stability, and people building on something. I mean, you can go build a business and start in Portland, or start up there in Washington, and Joel will tell you, yeah, don't do that, dude. It's a bad idea. But things are getting better. And my grandfather was from here, and blah blah blah. It's like, no, you have to, I think, walk away. And if you want to build on it, even if it is stable, do you trust it? And that's the question: is it trustworthy?
Yep.
Well, I think there's a point here to make that Bear is making, right? The first time Steve Jobs demoed the iPhone, if you've read about the backstory behind that was a demo that was strung together between almost every likely possible crash that you can imagine. The fact that he could pull it out of his pocket and do the demo that he did, and with the little stage magic, switching phones halfway through so that he could make sure that he didn't overrun the RAM with everything he tried on it. They were pretty sure it was going to fail when he was listening to a song and someone called him the first time he ran that demo, and they spent the next 6 months putting the thing into order enough to be production ready, right? But at the time they demoed it, it was a rough fucking demo that could have crashed. So Solana might be analogizable to that. And if I were going to get into anything building on Solana, it would be getting into building infrastructure on Solana, stabilizing it, decentralizing it more, find ways to help it be more like what it ought to be. And that's where you should be. If you actually want to build something on it, consider working closely with an infrastructure partner, right? Because that's going to be really the key to their growing into who they could be if they can keep it together and build something, right? Like, it's not guaranteed, but it would be really nice to have all that high throughput for stuff like decentralized Ubers and decentralized one of my favorites, decentralized dockless scooters that you could just invade communities with, and they wouldn't be able to say anything, so there'd be nobody to sue. Let's build that kind of stuff on there.
Yeah, I think the first thing I'd do is go get a license from Reggie and create a way to get rid of money and have that peer-to-peer transaction. Because sounds like that's the frustration, is that we know anytime money is used or any form of money, it enslaves people. And so until and unless we can get that peer-to-peer transaction, we're all going to be slaves.
It's a really good point, Lisa. And just dovetailing off of that, one last point to make is if you think we're all wrong and you got a better idea and you want to build it on Solana because you think it's the best, prove us fucking wrong, man. Go ahead and build something awesome, right? We'll talk about your awesome success. We'll invite you on the show to talk about your awesome success when you succeed with it. And we'll be happy for you.
Yep. And with that, we have a
Oh my God.
that
Ghosts of
We're in
John.
the tunnels of New York. We need to find him. We loved having him on. He was hilarious, but he's lost. I don't know what happened. I think it's current events related myself. But either way, is Solana a stable enough platform to build on? Possibly, depends on what you're building. If so, what would you build on it? Games, silly stuff.
Yep.
I would put meme coins there where people could buy them. I don't know.
Not hospital infrastructure.
Not hospital infrastructure, not financial stuff, not anything that needs to be fail-safe. Would you put your
porn needs to be on Solana?
Maybe so, but whatever. That's another part of societal issue. Anyway, so I'll read now. I am for I am. My take. I personally like Solana because it's quick and has, in all caps, very low fees. I think they were actually higher, somebody's telling me comparing them to Binance and Avalanche. I can't remember anyway. I've just not been one to invest in it due to its lack of stability. It's perfect for meme tokens, and I welcome those that move their tokens from ETH to Solana. I've seen meme tokens move over and Solana's price performance go up. This has helped with acceptance and adoption. Personally, I still think of Solana as a possible candidate for Matter to migrate on DEN in order to lower transfer and DEX fees. And by the way, I've talked to I am about this recently on the DAO call, the meeting. It's feasible. We could move the contract over and do a swap over to Solana if people really want that. It would take some time and energy to do it, but if we could do it, and even in upcoming projects, I've wondered, where should things live? Because I know fees, the ideal, by the way, in my opinion, if you have the resources to do it, is to use Dragon Chain and to let people pull tokens wherever they wish. You want to pull it on Binance, do it. You want to put it on Solana, do it. Or you want it on Ethereum because you think you're going to be able to get more money, do it, right? That's the ideal, but there's a lot of there's a lot of resources required.
Another thing to bear in mind about Solana, if you do run it, plan to run a full node, and share that RPC capacity, because the way that people tend to make money off of their nodes is to only run them if they're validating. And one thing that we found with Rivet is validation and data availability in APIs where disk is a heavy resource, where disk speed matters. Validation does not help your case when it comes to making sure you can serve high throughput requests, right? So somebody needs to be running just full nodes without validation turned on. And if you're doing a project that already pays you for some reason to have users, you should do the community service.
Cool.
So Just
Okay.
a
Good to know.
tiny little inside toss for folks running salon. I'd definitely consider running a full node without a validator.
All right. Okay, so we're only at the 45-minute mark, and it is now time to go to current events and memes. Are you guys ready for that? What do we want to itemize what the current events are before we get started?
Is it
there's a
possible?
lot. Yeah, depends which rabbit hole you want to go down.
Okay.
I would hit something first before everybody goes, crazy.
Okay. Sure.
I don't know if you heard, but they're one of the moons around either Jupiter or Saturn has more gas and oil than all of the Earth combined, everywhere on Earth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's
Yeah, you're talking about Titan, right?
I think I am talking about Titan.
Yeah, because it has like methane lakes or methane oceans.
Methane oceans and oil, right?
Yeah,
Now,
it's basically a which is amazing because all of those are also components for life. But
right. See, no one here freaked out because what do we call that here on Earth? Because we're running out of it. Call it fossil fuel.
Oh.
Because it comes from fossils of dinosaurs.
Oh, you're contending that there were dinosaurs in the past.
I'm asking the question: was there dinosaurs there? Is that what it is? Is that we're all set? So that's what happened. Hey, no. Also, there's more methane there than.
Yeah, it's like a planet. It's like fart planet. If you had to name it a literal thing, it's like fart planet.
Place to live, wouldn't it?
It's freezing, so all that extra methane, and there is no
cold car fart planet.
Warming. There's no global warming there. So a lot of holes are just like, wait a minute, these questions here scientifically need to be looked at. And everyone's like,
it's a different globe, Sean. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, the Earth is flat. That's a difference. There you go. Shut up now.
That is a funny thing because, I don't think they're fossil fuels. I think that there's some other mechanism that produces the oil, but I am not a scientist, so whatever.
It's not entirely required that it be decayed from. It can be synthesized, and I mean there are millions of ways that chemical chains can be created. And I would be willing to bet there's probably some subtle variation between the surface oil on Titan and the crude that we get out of the ground from like South Texas at the height of Spindletop, right? Like it's not going to be the same sort of deal.
Wow, that's an interesting.
I bring that up now. I got to talk about that.
That's an unexpected current event that Sean has brought up.
I now have a comment on that, Greg. That energy sustainability. Oh shit.
What? Yeah, we know. Whatever it is.
No, it's no. Okay, so okay. Energy independence is fake. It's not real. Trump is a liar when it comes to that. Because the majority of our gas and oil that we get comes from fracking. It's a different kind of gas and oil, and we do not have the refineries to refine it. So do you know what we do? We send it to other countries that do have that do have the upgraded refineries. So we still, even under Trump, when we were supposedly energy independent, we were still buying most of our oil, but we were exporting all this other oil. So it's all a card game or a shell game, because we're not going to upgrade our refineries to refine our own gas and our own oil.
Right. And also, like, the modern world doesn't really have any of our own in it at all. Like, if you ever see a Made in America tag on it, it's because of the rules they created at the universal or at the UTC level to make it so you could decide that if enough of the products were brought to the United States and put together into a final product there, that it would be considered made in the USA, right? Like, you can have all your machine work done, all your aluminum rolling done in China, and you can have all your your rubber's mined from the rubber mines of South Ontario or wherever the hell rubber comes from, and you can bring it all to the United States. You can put it together into an aircraft and say that aircraft was made here.
Yeah, assembled in America, designed in California, that type of thing. Hey, I'm going to bring up
the rules are specific, and
I know
they
that
are
Sean's
very game.
avoiding this topic here is the TikTok ban. I'm joking. The TikTok ban and its related
You mean the internet
issues.
freedom ban?
Yes. What in the hell are they doing? And what, by the way, I've not been able to pay attention to it, so I don't know how far along it is. Has it already been voted?
It's so
in?
bad.
Has it been signed? Where are we at with it?
It's passed the House.
Okay, so it's going to pass the Senate, and
it's SOPA PIPA Part 2 is what it is. They found a new back door, but
yeah, and this is
nestled
I'm
in the
telling you
law
right now, this is the reason why. What you're seeing on this graphic is the reason.
Nestled in the law, that's not why. Nestled in the law is language that says website alongside app.
Yes.
It gives the president
And
or the attorney general the power to shut down anything that either is controlled by or is influenced or secondarily controlled by. Like they basically had like this really obscure language saying indirectly was how they said indirectly controlled.
We know what they want to do. I agree with you on that.
I mean, they can declare anything to be indirectly controlled by a foreign power if their definition of infrastructure includes cognitive.
Yeah, it's a good deal about though is that there is a massive amount.
You couldn't hear me. That could backfire very big because ByteDance is a Chinese Communist Party owned company. But if they sold ByteDance to Rumble, then TikTok could still exist in the U.S. and it would be actually a platform of freedom of speech.
Well, they already got their censorship engine out of it anyway, so I think they're expecting it to fail. From what I've read, TikTok has already started to do, U.S. style censorship, and there's an independent contractor team working over on the data set they now store at Oracle already. Right, like they already got their win. So the only reason they're possibly doing this bill is to try to shove it through and see if they can't get control of the whole internet over the scare.
Yeah, and I will tell you the big driver, because the ADL has even said it, the big driver is that their separation of left and right isn't working, that they have to work on the young and the old now, because the young is actively calling out the genocide that's going on right now. And that's what's led to this, because guess who finances all of those Senate and congressional campaigns? Okay, it's all owned by the same all of that funding comes from one group.
Right.
So.
You guys remember when the Bin Laden letter was trending on TikTok, and they got and what happened was they killed the hashtag, and then the Washington Post actually took down the copy of the letter.
Yep.
Does TikTok cooperating that align with the worldview that it's China trying to hurt the United States?
No, none of it makes sense. The narrative is trash.
It crashes the whole argument for it.
They even have the guy. They
would
CEO
want to spread
TikTok.
The Bin Laden letter if the U.S. thought it was bad.
I can't remember what member of Congress or Senate was quizzing the CEO of TikTok, but they're like asking him about his Chinese connection. He's like, I'm from Singapore. It was just hilarious because
it looks like old people being racist, frankly.
Yes. But it's something way beyond that. So anyway, that's one of anything else going on in the world.
Yes. Kristi Noem yesterday signed a bill starting to initiate or open a center for quantum computing at Dakota State. And in her announcement at the 12-minute mark of the video, she says, so I'm signing this, look up, take a picture. Okay, now everyone I pretend like I'm signing this, take a picture. And she says, I'm also declaring a state of emergency.
For what?
She didn't say.
Huh. Well,
but
they did just pass another bill related to
tons of airlines closed down today for weather-related issues.
Sorry, guys.
And there's going to be, Haiti is, Chile's on fire. Haiti's in a crazy coup with supposed cannibals eating the former leaders, dragging them out of the house and setting them on fire in the streets. I mean,
It's a
there's a
spicy
lot going
chili.
on. There's a lot going on.
By the way, what do you guys think about her latest signature bill on censoring certain info in their state there? Because that was kind of,
I
I thought
didn't
that
see
was
that
just
one.
absurd. It's you can't say anything anti-Semitic. You can't. There are a whole bunch of things
Christy
you can't
Noem
say.
did that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's a hate
Wow.
speech law.
yeah. It's hate speech
basically.
law, but it's only for one group, and it says that you can't even. What were some of the ridiculous things that you can't claim that a person of a particular religion thinks that a particular foreign nation is as important or more important than America, and various things. Like, you can't say that they think that. It's just crazy.
That's weird.
Is it? It is.
Yeah, it's super
yeah.
weird because the argument that you have to make there is entirely political. Like, it's obvious that this is just more censorship in a different stripe.
Yep. It's bad.
So,
It's really
and
bad.
this is a problem I see. Like, something's really bugged me about all the stuff that's happened over the last 2 or 3 years. It just sort of drives me nuts, is to watch the fair weather friends of liberty shift in and out of a position that defends it based on its advantage for their fucking side.
Yep. And who they
There's
are.
so many
and
people who will
Yep.
who will be like all about free speech until we're talking about censoring people who are cheering for Hamas, right? Then we're okay with it.
Yep.
But if we're talking about censoring people who are rooting for making America great again, then the other side is all of a sudden pro censorship, right? Like, they just flip to whatever's most convenient, and
Yep.
they use liberty as a fig leaf for their fucking ideology, and it just pisses me off.
It very much is just it's the same tribalism we see in crypto, but applied to every other segment of society. If you're a plumber, then the electricians are against you, right? If you're black, then the white people hate you. If
And
you're
everybody
Christian,
hates the
then
libertarians
Muslims,
because we point out the hypocrisy when everybody does it.
and or some the libertarians are behind some of that sometimes. So it's absolutely ridiculous that
I'm not talking uppercase L.
Okay. That's cool. I don't know. There's just so much horrible stuff in the world, but anyway, and memes like what was a Belgian politician was just thrown in prison for a year and told that apparently he cannot participate in politics for like 10 or 20 years, if I remember correctly, because he was in a private group where offensive memes were shared. It wasn't him creating the memes. It wasn't him sharing them himself.
It was literally that the bits were arrayed accordingly on his phone.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Do you know why they did that? It's because he was a threat. He's a nationalist. I don't know what else.
Right.
I don't know anything
He
about
became
politics.
an easy target.
But that's the type of thing. People, rather than being trained to like, oh yeah, he's a bad person. It needs to be looked at as like, wait a minute, if they're banning this person from politics and not just saying, let him talk, let him speak. In South Dakota, if people want to speak hate, let them speak, let them expose themselves. That's what you do. It's like,
right. Well, if the only place
people,
that you leave safe to hide is in the crowd, you are censoring your society.
Yeah. So anyway, the world, people need to be smarter about, and people are waking up. That's why the whole TikTok ban thing is there, that they're afraid that we all understand what the hell's going on and who controls shit. So it's really bad.
They're right.
People are waking up. In Georgia, Governor Brian Kemp signed a Senate bill 332, of course, which empowers a panel created by Georgia lawmakers to potentially remove rogue state prosecutors. So Fanny's in trouble.
Oh, yeah, that's good. That's why that's there.
Watch her, Fanny.
I don't know if you trust Trump anymore. Anyway.
Pick off one of the weaker ones along the edge, but leave the mass intact. It's pretty much par for the course.
Mm-hmm. Yep. There's also lots of news around, states are issuing like prepare, gas up your car,
Really?
all this, get extra food for the eclipse. There's actually going to be a solar eclipse on the 25th, a moon eclipse on the 25th on March, and then the big solar eclipse on the 8th. And so like there's a bunch of issuing like big emergency orders, and we're seeing billboards all around here about the eclipse, and I'm like, who the hell's paying for that? Who's paying for big billboards talking about the eclipse is coming in Oklahoma City? Doesn't make any sense to me.
Eclipses are classic, right? When you think about what led the Mayans and the Mexica Aztecs to power, it was their ability to predict the eclipse at the priesthood level. Like they could see on their calendar when it was going to occur, and they could start to declare that the gods were getting angry, and that soon the great whatever would devour the sun. And then the day that they claimed it, that they were at the height of their sacrifices and tithing, the sun gets blotted out, and they go, we better sacrifice this person right now, otherwise we're not going to be okay. And they save the day with the sacrifice because they know the eclipse is going away. Like it's esoteric knowledge, occult knowledge that people have used to rule others for centuries. So I'm not surprised that there's still some level of it going on.
Yep. This is modern crypto. You can make prices go up. So everybody's like, oh, we better pay attention to them. Huh? Anyway, it's hilarious.
Kind of like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Everything repeats, right? And it's very helpful if you can control enough resources to separate people from each other.
Yep.
They can never
learn from and remember history too. It does really help.
Yep. Oh, here's by the way, anything related to the dinosaurs being chickens and dinosaur-shaped chicken nuggets is always hilarious to me. So if anybody knows that, it's like,
that's funny.
It is such a weird thing in the world.
They put it in your face, right?
But not as weird as Tate being considered some Chad online and stuff. I just don't know.
He got arrested again.
Yeah, that's another current event.
Really?
He and his brother. Yep. Yep. I don't know. I don't really care. It's all psyop stuff. It's like anything.
It's the only way that the country he lives in has to suck up to the Western powers.
Well, this one was apparently the UK somehow causing his arrest, if I understand correctly. So
right, but the fact that the country they live in doesn't really have any other reason to be friendly with them. Like it's sort of like if you're, let's say if you're Amazon and someone calls you up and says, "Hey, there's this really obnoxious service called Parler. Can you take them down? Otherwise, we're going to be your enemy." And it's the U.S. government calling or the British government calling. Like, what are you going to do? Right? Of course, the country was it Romania where he's living.
Well, I can't believe anyone would get on a plane right now. Speaking of that, because like I am in the chat said,
Romania
he'll be the next
Parler
one.
of the world.
He'll be the next one that's Epstein.
So
but the Boeing thing. You got to talk about the Boeing thing. Like 50 people got hurt recently. Their planes, like there were a bunch of planes that like went really fast all of a sudden. There's planes with gas flying out the back
falling off.
And then they killed the guy who was going in to be a whistleblower.
Not financial advice, but I guarantee that they are taking Boeing.
Many whistleblowers have been killed.
There's no way you get to this level. And they have journalists who've asked people on the lines, when are you going to fly? And it's like, I'm not flying on this plane, right? They know how it's been manufactured. They're not going to fly on the plane.
Right.
It means you're going to have a bunch of
door blew off after a service because
they're lucky so far you've not had a major crash, but it's coming and it's coming and they're doing it on purpose. So, and it is the whole fundamentals of Wall Street short term. We have to get our quarterly report to show the right numbers so that my bonus is there. And the fact that quality's not there at all anymore.
Well, ESG is
finance
kind of
side
quality
is pushing.
too, right?
Yes, the finance side is pushing. If they don't push the ESG stuff, then they're going to fire the people running stuff.
Right. If you don't hire a percentage of each demographic, then we're going to come after you, and therefore you better have that regardless of their ability to manufacture a safe plane or fly a safe plane for
the
that matter.
people who run and regulate Wall Street, both sides of it, you know, same people that are attacking us, by the way, some of them on both sides of that, work together, and this is their doing, and it's either intentional or they are massively incompetent, which it's probably a little both, but that is what causes this. If you think, oh, we need good regulations so people don't get cheated, it's like, guess what? you need to do something shit with the market economy so that people don't die on those fucking planes.
Yeah, in reality, if you look back in time, you got cheated the last time someone bought the line that regulation was the way to fix your problem.
Yep. It's always wrong. And people, even in crypto, even fucking Vitalik will tout that line. Fuck them. Anyway, Kate Middleton missing. I don't know if there's anything legit in any of that, but it's been kind of funny watching it on 4chan where they find where that picture was so photoshopped that they had to withdraw it, and then they had to make some fake claim. And I just thought it was like very bizarre. No idea what's going on there. And how about this one? Speaking of memes posted by Elon Musk, this one hit home so hard. I was like, it was so funny. So thank you, Elon Musk. That was a good meme that was posted about dragons, and you know, the supposed dragon.
Did he give you guys a quiet nod?
I don't know. I mean, it's
spelling
literally the way that the whole thing is. I really doubt that, but I think he's.
I don't know. He hates the SEC.
Yes, he does.
I would be surprised if he's familiar with their docket enough to insult them on every case.
Yeah. It's hilarious, but it's just funny because it's like it's like, look, we're trying to build something here. It's like, no, you're gonna die because you're a junior banker. And it's like, I'm not a junior banker. I've never stepped foot in Goldman Sachs. I don't know any of those people. I don't like any of those people that I've ever seen online.
Yeah,
I'm not.
But I have this awesome automation.
It's so funny.
Like I don't see anything here. Burn it.
So good. So good.
It's pretty funny. The only thing I will say though is with crypto, it's going to be a lot harder to kill the dragon because it has many heads.
Yes. Yep. And I wish we had more resources. We would be. I would probably be a billionaire if I knew what I know now back then. So it's an interesting thing. I don't know. Gosh, what else? The dude.
I feel like that drawing is missing like several layers.
Oh, yeah.
Above it. It's all going to connect back up to Rothschilds.
Oh, yes. There are several lizard people levels on there too, I'm sure, right? So, yes.
I wasn't being facetious. I was just talking about the people who are likely the stockholders of the world's largest banks.
Have you seen the Egyptian one where it's there were actual Egyptian hieroglyphs that had the same mechanism and then they replaced it with modern equivalents? It's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting.
Yeah. Disney, anything profitable. Actually, you have to scratch off a little red line. Almost anything profitable, and probably put on it unless it's good.
Yep.
Because they lost the idea that art has an edge a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh yeah, and they lost a lot of things a long time ago. If you've ever worked there, you would know. It's a really stark contrast in any meeting when someone would quote Walter Disney. That a quote from Walt Disney is like, "That's awesome. I want to work here. That's a great quote." And for whatever faults, because I have no idea that Club 33, I have no idea any of that shit. But the things that he would at least mention were all positive, creative, looking forward. But anything that they're actually doing in those same meetings is, we can't do that. That's and it's just ridiculous. If you're actually trying to build
they set up a wall of no, a gauntlet of no for you to run through for your ideas that they're encouraging you to have. It's actually kind of cruel when you think about it that way.
And the
Other
current
interesting
economic
point
situation.
about that.
Okay, good.
Go ahead.
No, this is
Just say other interesting point about that. The reason that Disney sucks right now is because Walt Disney built a Walt creativity machine where he could amplify himself, and he was the head of it, and he led the creative vision. That's why it made sense to give marching orders to all the cartoonists instead of letting them create. Right? They haven't hired a creative since Walt Disney was in charge of it. It's the dumbest damn thing anyone's ever done with Disney is they haven't taken advantage of his creativity machine.
There's creativity in grooming and pedo stuff. I guarantee to you. There's
Yeah,
some
but
creative
I mean,
pedos
not
involved.
evil, I guess.
Okay, all right. Create good.
evil.
You mean as like a Tolkien-esque creative good, right?
No, I don't mean like give the Vogons
Totally
a
agree.
bigger microphone for poetry.
I totally agree.
You're never supposed to let them read that.
Yeah. Yep. The father, I didn't realize he was arrested for heckling. It's interesting, right? Like America is not. America is kind of messed up.
They shopped some of those photos. Like, did they AI process Biden?
Have you seen the one picture recently posted? They said, "What is wrong with his eyes?" They zoom in on his eyes, and his eyes are kind of deep behind the mask, first of all. But then also there are no eyelashes because the mask is there, and it's a very convincing 3-letter agency mask. But yeah, it's and you've seen the tab on his ear. There's a couple of pictures where there's a little square tab where they forgot to tuck it under. It's kind of funny.
Oh, I remember him. Now I remember where I've seen him before. He was in the first Men in Black, right? He was the guy who was riding around. He had Orion's belt.
Yes, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
There's a really I might find it in here. There's a really hilarious theory that it's Jim Carrey behind a mask, and it was like that would. Freaking
that would just
hilarious.
I mean, it would be horrendous because he'd be a war criminal.
That Dana Carvey guy, I think, is one of the other actors.
Oh, probably. He does a really good Biden.
Yeah,
really good Biden. That's for sure.
He did a great Bush too.
Yep.
I recall.
I don't know. There's a whole bunch of stuff even now coming out.
State of the Union.
Ethereum got their blobs. I shared that with you.
Ethereum blobs. That's right. What do you guys think about the Ethereum blobs? I don't know a ton about
it. I think it's a nod to their connection with the deep state. Victoria Nuland's husband did this video about, you will know the blob, you will respect the blob, you will do what the blob says, like calling the blob basically like the deep state. And then it's very strange that she steps down or makes her plan to step down or announcement or whatever, and then 2-3 days later Ethereum gets blobs, because in his video he said something about you have to acknowledge the blob, or you have to say it publicly or something. There's something about it. So I think it's some maybe that's why Solana's pumping.
Well, when you look back at the earliest, to me what's awesome is if you look back at the earliest spec of the internet, right? Like, it didn't have binary large objects, right? It didn't, but they added that in a later version, and it was capable of transporting, right? You could actually embed blobs in your page or whatever, right? It was a big advantage for the internet that blockchain has not been able to really avail itself of to this point. It's kind of neat to be able to store larger binary sets, because you can use for instance, create gigantic bit masks and store massive amounts of content really compressed.
I'm going to say something controversial here. Dragon Chain has been able to do that since 2014.
Right.
Why is it that Ethereum has to steal everything the Dragon Chain builds? Why? And then claim that they did it.
Open source, Joe.
What is it? Layer 2 solutions. It's like, fucking guys, I told him that, and everybody's like, no, we have to have it purely decentralized, Joe. You can't have any level of hybrid. It's just not the same thing. Fuck them all.
Well, here we are all these years later, and we have blobs.
Yep.
It's a nod to the credulity of your idea, right? Like
I think everything on Ethereum is a nod to that. But but that's all right. You know, we use it, but I wouldn't ever use an Ethereum blob. Why the fuck would I ever need an Ethereum blob?
You know, it's going to be interesting. I just
And by
think
the
it's
way-
going to be interesting what people build with it.
There is, by the way, I will tell you, and you can use this in conversations about these later, that in the traditional world, especially in data stores, there's always a controversy among engineers, religious controversy even, of whether they are blobs or blobs. Just
Right.
remember that, because you can
Right,
use that and kind of get some of it's like, actually it's blobs.
Do you think
Make sure you remember that.
that comment should that needs to come up? You're right. I'm totally using that. Thanks.
Blobs. Anyway, I love it. I love
Who
it.
came up with that?
What's that? Well, it's because there's C-lobs too. There's also character large objects and
okay.
binary large objects.
Gotcha.
Does Ethereum have C-lobs yet? No. Dragon Chain does. Come to Dragon
Indeed.
Chain. It doesn't matter. Like a Dragon Chain has better uptime than Solana by far.
We should get a prediction market on going on which hard fork they're going to add that feature in.
Yeah, I don't know. They're going to wait until Vitalik has something brilliant to say about it, and I don't know. So whatever. It's all funny.
Chat GPT is a click away for him now, though.
See, I have uncontroversial memes on board here. See, I saved some, particularly because they're not controversial.
Okay.
I dare someone to create a controversy out of this. Do it. It's anybody.
We're gonna make a Solana meme.
There is a wall there, so.
This one might be controversial. I don't know. It's kind of funny.
Someone should take the Feds Go Home banner and put it over the kittens.
Yes. Oh, look at this one here. I need to I'll share this one. Okay, I'll rewind this. You've already seen this, maybe. It's brilliant. I love this one. Look, this guy's gonna try to grab it. I'm gonna
Oh, he's not getting it.
It's so freaking hilarious. I'm not a cat person either, but it's funny. Oh, here's a controversial one. I'm not gonna say anything about it. These just come up as they do. I do filter them some because I do not want. There's some that we can't.
There's some you can't even tell us what they are.
Yeah, some of the you can look at what this is. I'm not gonna. This one might be a little more funny, less a little more lighthearted.
Did you guys have a chance to choke down any portion of the actual or analysis of the State of the Union?
No way. I would never watch that.
No.
I'll watch that.
Did you read about any of the meta coverage?
What's that?
Sorry, I was like, you have to remove yourself a couple degrees from the coverage before it starts to become entertaining. It's really pretty boring itself. And then like the people reporting on the ground are completely shills. We know that. But then you start talking about them with respect to the whole thing and reality, and you're like meta levels away from the speech, and it just starts to look really absurd.
Yeah.
Like a whole bunch of people live in the reality where like, yay, he made it through a speech was like the victory point.
That was what I heard. They were like, he nailed it. He had so much energy and made it through the whole thing. I'm like, you're surprised by that? That should disturb you.
Well, it might be, maybe a good time to invest in whatever drug companies are
I want to know where they're getting the limitless drug from, though, because they clearly pumped that into him right before.
Well, that's what that little boy handed to him on the tarmac, didn't he?
He did very well. He honestly did.
Did he? Oh my God! Sean's here, and he chimes in to
support
to defend Biden. That's amazing. Let's see here. I'm still going through memes. I'm still have a few left. Again, I hope they aren't too controversial or offensive. But for everybody, right? There are for everybody, and it's all in good fun. And this is by the way, when I'm on this, I can't really pay too much attention. Which is a good.
Is this supposed to be an anagram for domestic terrorist?
I think so. It's fun. I thought it was funny. Anybody who lived through K-Tel commercials and fallen and can't get up commercials. It's a good one. Oh, and here we are
Well,
back to last week.
Domestic
I
terrorism.
shared this one last week, so I think I only skipped a few because they were a little bit too far, a little bit too much. But this is our society today, and it's Tolkien-esque. It is, if you can judge societies and people by whether they create or destroy.
But when you think about being an individual member of either of those, which one would you rather be?
I don't know enough about the life of a wasp. I know
I'd
life of a bee is pretty hard.
Just think about how crammed in you are by comparison. Like, the wasp nests are a lot more roomy.
Are they? I don't know. I don't know about that. I've seen a lot of wasps.
Yeah, they keep them small. They build single family homes.
I'd imagine it would stink too. I'll bet you wasps have BO, whereas bees smell like honey. So it's like if a bee's spit smells like honey, and it's like I'd rather be in that crowd, frankly, and be positive contributor to the world. It's like I'll help these plants. It's like sure, people can eat the food without paying me, but I'm all right. I got my honey. I'll just eat some honey and I'll have lots of energy and I live for my week. I don't think they get to breathe.
It's dark in there when they don't cut it open,
Yeah. And, and then the beekeeper's usually pretty polite. He puts some smoke in there to relax me and, takes the honey and it's like, oh, we start over again.
Because you need the center of like the most claustrophobic construct ever made.
Yeah, I guess some wasps. I guess maybe if you're going that angle, maybe termites would be best because they have the
individual. Do you ever see wasps rammed in next to each other side by side?
I've never opened one up. I've only killed them.
No, they don't. They don't ram in together. They don't snuggle like bees.
We had one of those hornet nests in our. I tell you what, when I had a print shop way back when I was young, I kid you not, I'd never known that hornets were like this. We had this hornet that flew into the shop. I'm like, okay. So I like, playing with it. I threw, wrinkled up some a ball of paper and I threw it at it. Dude, don't ever do that to a hornet. It did not like that. And it was like dealing with something like at least as smart as a dog or something. That this thing hovered and it freaking watched me for like 15 minutes.
Dear
and
God.
Pretty soon it's like when I made too much eye contact with it, it charged me. I like ducked down and it hovered over my head for what seemed like an hour. It wasn't that long. And then it freaking took off. That was a frightening animal. Hornets are
really
crazy.
I remember I was so scared when I was a kid. I watched this nature show. I was probably like 5 years old or something.
The Gorilla Channel?
It was about bees and wasps. And how wasps, like hen wasps, went and attacked this beehive with like 500 bees, and they just killed them and then like took their honey. But I don't know how they show this. It still is to this day. How did they show the wasps flying? But they had the wasps flying into like in a formation with music, and then they go in and they showed this
Ride of the Valkyries. I almost guarantee it was Ride of the Valkyries.
I think I was 5, but the wasp would grab a bee and rip its head off, and then drop it.
Those fuckers.
They would grab another bee, rip its head off, drop it. They killed like 500 or 600 bees. There's like 100 to 1. It was nuts.
Wow.
And they're just they're scary, man.
Yeah,
they are scary.
No.
You can't kill them with a spray. You need a specialized spray, and then you need a specialized spray that sprays like 50 feet.
You have to be careful.
And they decentralize their nests, man. So they're coming back unless you like hunt for the big one.
Yep. Well, I've seen so many. At least I think it's an advancement in human technology that people now take the bucket with gasoline at the bottom of it and put it up against the wasp hive, and they all come out and then charge out and then land in the gas and then die. That's apparently the way to take them out now. I'm just hoping I get a wasp, whatever you call it, a hut or hive or mud thing, whatever.
There's a little startup though that's worth watching on this one because they have like a little tiny, like a nano drone that's driven by an AI sensor that you keep over an area that just defends you from anything flying that stings. Like it identifies the wasp and just takes them out.
Mosquitoes? Can it get mosquitoes? Can you imagine? Could it
yeah,
fly
the idea
in
was
and
originally
pretend like it's one of
mosquitoes,
them?
but like it's
That's
like
what I
a
wanna
predator
see.
drone for bugs. Right?
That's
crazy.
amazing. See, that's a
I
good
totally
thing.
want
That's
one
awesome.
of those. Like
Yeah.
way better than a bug zapper.
That would be fun, wouldn't it? Just get a whole,
Yeah, it would
just
be
get a
fun to
freaking
watch.
a whole horde of them. You know, they just fly. That'd be
Right.
amazing. That'd be so cool.
Stay away from my beehive, you bastards.
Your enemies,
right?
your enemies as well, not just other bugs. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Why not? Okay. So that's this. Apparently, this might be all of the memes. I don't think I repeated that.
I'm sending you something to the private chat. You can play it if you get the sound.
Okay.
I wanted to get you guys take on it because to me it bothers me.
What's that? You want me to play this one?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to show it first of all.
Didn't bother Lisa.
You know what? I need to. I'm gonna have to stop it and represent because I'm not sharing audio.
I gotta present it in a different browser to get mine to work.
Yeah, I got it. And we'll, so if he's good with Mike Rogers, maybe he should pick Liz Cheney for VP. Okay, so now I will play this. It's hilarious. All right, so and you guys have to tell me right away if you can't hear it. Okay, it looks like the audio is on.
I haven't even seen this. How could you say it doesn't bother me?
Can you hear it?
Hear that Donald Trump will be the Republican nominee in 2024. Don't believe it. I don't think it's helpful for the President of the United States to attack the media. It's petty, and it's certainly below the stature of the office of the President of the United States. It's beneath the office in and of itself. Actions and activities unbecoming of the office of the President of the United States. I don't believe today, as I'm sitting here, that Donald Trump will.
Oh, because we discussed this because I don't think we're going to make it to November. B, I don't think Trump's going to be the elected or nominated or whatever. We're just not even going to get there. And I think that Trump brings these people up to be shown for who and what they are. So it's not that it doesn't bother me that he would endorse someone who's been a never Trumper. I think he's putting them up on the platform.
It could very well be that that they've come to some kind of term too.
Yeah,
but we don't have the whole story.
Yeah, but it's Trump.
You never have a whole story. Isn't that part of the problem?
Yeah,
that's sad. Yeah,
if we had the full story, then we wouldn't have this post.
Yeah, it's what's weird is why can't we know?
It's the same as with crypto.
When there are leaders.
You need to pay attention to where they don't want you to look. What they try to censor. Yeah. You need to pay attention to the people that at least seemingly, and there can be mistakes there, of course, but at least seemingly appear to be philosophically driven. Rand Paul is pretty consistently, as his father too, that I usually trust what he says because he's not in it for he's going to make some trade in the background. No, it's about real constitutional representative republic stuff. And that's a good thing. So
if it weren't him saying this, I wouldn't buy it usually. Like I guess.
Right.
Or just somebody with the kind of consistency on ideals, right? It's not so much just him.
And this, by the way, is where I always stand.
Are going on. Big says there's see, and you're putting up this meme saying this, but I mean he's breaking it harder, right? Breaking it faster, showing you it's exposing this. Correction.
I'm all for accelerationism, but when I see him put his hand on the wall, and when I see him say that Israel's first, it's like, okay, guess what? That's not America first. America first is ending all, not just Israel.
Heard him say Israel first.
Just look recent with the stuff with what's going on in Palestine. You kill all the Gazans, kill basically. Anyway, it's a lot of people. Were turned off by that, and it doesn't matter because his money comes from that lobby. So no matter what, you're going to have that, and it's sad, but it's not America first. So and therefore, I'm not voting for him unless he changes that tune. I'm not going to vote. In fact, if you want accelerationism, keep Biden in for another 4 years.
Oh God, no.
I actually would. It's like if you want it to break fast, fucking keep him in. So,
I'd rather have at least the first leg of the accelerationist runway cycle be an up leg as opposed to a down leg. So, we should probably steer things in a positive direction if we can.
Yes. Oh, and then this one from Sean also. I mean,
just because
Musk
it's a
is
dumpster
posting
fire
some
is
really
not
good stuff
making an
lately.
invitation to throw in some gasoline.
Yep. So
Here's one where I thought was funny, but then it's really not funny because
yeah, it's sad. But all of this stuff is sad, right?
I
So,
posted another one that was.
yeah, there is.
Yeah. But when it comes to this, I think it was the EU, Lisa. I told you about. They made it illegal for that to be given to kids.
They
It
did.
was
Yep.
UK at least. Was it
UK.
EU?
Based
Yeah.
on
I think it was UK.
based on the
UK,
what's
it
it,
was
the
UK,
the leak that they the named leak they had?
Yeah.
Was it
Yep.
the name of the files? CPath?
Oh yeah, we missed this, by the way. This is a current event. The rugging of Hex is, and I don't follow Hex. I'm like,
it's not rugged. That you don't follow Hex, I guess. I don't either anymore. But it's not rugged. It's
okay.
everything's fine.
Is it?
I went to like went to like Nerd Girl.
I heard that what's his name ran off with all, like, he rugged it. Yeah, he sold all his coins
Actually,
and
now he
took
posted
off.
like an hour or two ago, 3 hours ago, 6 hours ago.
And what happened to
How much better this
look at the
is
on-chain data?
than our ETH, and we're still up 600% on these coins you were given for free, and these other coins that you bought from this project are down. It's everything's fine. I went to like certain influencers that were like huge mouthpieces that are like screaming Hex for years now, and nothing negative. Everything's fine.
I just don't understand why they wouldn't, if they were going to clone ETH and run it differently, then why wouldn't they also change the chain ID? Like, that bothers me that they didn't change the chain ID.
What did I say? My answer
Gonna
is
have
still the correct
problems
answer.
because of that.
What did I say? The utility. What was it?
Louis Vuittons and something.
Oh yeah.
Is
That's what the utility
Is that
is.
what you were talking
You,
about?
you get pictures of him in Louis Vuittons and other gay stuff. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's the biggest.
He likes
I used
Gucci
to like him years ago because he was like common sense man, and he would call out maximalists because he was like, I'm a Bitcoin maximalist. I was here from the beginning. I love Bitcoin, but Bitcoin's going up 50% here, and I can get 500x or on these other coins. So
that's where we're at right now.
And he said, I want to buy more Bitcoin, so I'm going to. It was just, but he was saying a lot of common sense shit.
That stuff, by the way, always annoyed me about the trader culture, because they don't give a shit about what it's really here for and what we could use it for to improve the world. They're entirely just trying to hedge altcoins to get more Bitcoin, and then and it's just like,
get to the end result where Bitcoin's worth $1 million or whatever.
Like it's just I get it.
We're using it as.
I think they get Bitcoin and ETH because one is tradable commodity and one is a tradable contract. I think that's why they understand them roughly.
I don't know. Here's one thing I've learned.
But that's the only level
to try to understand dumb people that have, and that's what that is.
He was always a very smart guy, and then
I'm not saying he's dumb.
I didn't talk to him for a long time. I didn't talk to him. I didn't. And then I didn't get Hex. It was a little bit too confusing. I didn't get into it, and then I started watching him, and he was a ghetto high school dropout moron with like 8 Rolexes spinning behind him, and he literally would start every show off with, "My shirt cost this much, my shoes cost this much," and I was like,
"Really? See, that's
what
trash.
the hell is this? What is this shit?" It was like
all the followers
came. 17-year-old or 19-year-old influencer that was trying to get clout for what it was the weirdest thing. And I was like, wow, you still gotta respect this guy. But it was, I didn't care about that. It was weird.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm out of memes. Do we have any other current events to cover?
Oh, in the land of freaking everybody more about AI, there's a new Google DeepMind release that is actually capable of playing video games using just the visual and the inputs that normal players would have, and you give it a voice command. It's like Chat GPT go get in my No Man's Sky spacecraft and take off. And it'll just 10 seconds worth of actual command you can just give a thing, and it'll play any game that has a 3D environment to it.
So no hands.
Very good. Yeah.
Here,
This
Joe,
is what I envision right here.
intervene for you. I got a couple things that I want to talk about those current events. One is I think it's very transparent. The other one is the Andrew Tate thing. How him and his brother were arrested for literally nothing. It was a civil matter from 10 years ago that happened in the UK, and the UK literally reached out to Romania, said arrest this guy, give him some shit, and put him in jail for the night.
They're following the Assange model with that guy for some reason.
Yeah, and they're like multimillionaires. Can you imagine just being a regular fucking citizen with a chip on their shoulder and a YouTube channel? Oh my god!
I don't know if they're multi. I think they rent all the cars and the houses and stuff. And I mean, I'm sure they have some money, but I don't think.
I don't know, man, because they're under so much scrutiny. They're under so people would call that out.
It's a psyop. They're controlled. It's like they're there to pull people in to do whatever they're going to do with them, just like Britney Spears, just like all
Taylor Swift.
All this stuff is so rich, though. They talk against all that stuff. The whole get out of the matrix.
That's a new one too. Is Taylor Swift actually going to never perform in the U.S. if Trump is elected? Is that was something I just saw yesterday?
I don't know.
Oh no!
She's got a new.
I just saw that. I don't know if it's true.
The other thing is the Hannah Barron thing. Did y'all follow that?
Hannah Barron, no. Which
this huge thing that blew up, and I've seen this a million times on my feed at least. There'll be like a picture of some pretty Southern girl or whatever, and they're like, the left hates these people, or it'll be a picture of a family, and the left hates these people. What do you think? And they get like tens of thousands of comments and millions of impressions, and they're like, because all the chicks don't have penises. I mean, they're just. It's so baby.
Yeah, I know. I can't remember the name of the one girl. There was the thing where they were dissing American women for being working outside.
That's
and
what
stuff.
he's talking
and
about.
Whether it's and there's a whole thing. Is it a psyop? Because this came out of nowhere, and it's a Black Rifle Coffee Company thing, and there's a whole.
Okay, so I just posted it in the thing. You can pull it up.
Yeah.
So she is she's actually a model, but she lives with her dad out there in the country. She's a very wholesome person. She's sponsored by Black Rifle Coffee, but her best friend works for Black Rifle Coffee. Was a bitter barista. But she got kicked off of Twitter like years ago and just never restarted it. She's probably kicked off for saying things that were
Oh, sorry, I was
like normal. But anyway, so she set this up. Hey, I just restarted my Twitter. It's it's been a while, got shut down, but this is my new handle. All the other ones are scams. Don't answer anyone else. Blah blah blah. And then she posted one thing of her like rolling out some hose, like 150 feet of hose, out in the sun, and she was like, "This is not fun." Blah blah. Blah. And then her dad are building a house. She showed some stuff there, and this woman from Lafayette or something, she said that her accent should be illegal. That American women shouldn't be doing this, like it should be illegal for them to have to do manual labor and stuff. And that
they were sweaty and disgusting or something. Wasn't it all triggered around the word tomboy?
Well, she said that American women are actually men, and then these other, big influencer people started saying that tomboys, if you like a tomboy, you think they're attractive, you're gay, which is just kind of it is a psyop because she's beautiful. You know what I mean? And if you think that she is, then all of a sudden you're questioning your own sexual identity. And then there was the other one was that all tomboys are gay. American.
I've heard from several people too that like young people today don't have it easy. Like when they go in, if they are at all how do I say this? It's all pushed into that narrative that, oh, you're this then, and
Yeah.
you know, and you know, there are even memes on 4chan about the fall of tomboys, because you know, people who like tomboys, it's like, oh, they don't exist anymore. They're it's impossible, because now they're pushed to be something else. So it's just a weird. It's all everything's a psyop.
I don't know if it was I don't think this is a psyop per se.
No, I don't know.
I think that this is definitely a don't let any crisis or anything go unused.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, we can use
opportunism.
Yeah, definitely opportunism.
Yeah.
Well, opportunism coupled with a startlingly quick information awareness.
Yeah.
Just
Just tons of weird stuff.
Very offensive.
I don't get it. Yeah. Anyway, do you have something more offensive? Do you?
I do, but I'm too scared to share it with you.
I dare you, and I can blame it on you this way.
Okay, all right. If you want me to, I'll put it I got it on my Twitter. But okay, here we go.
I don't know. Okay, I'll make a quick judgment call, or should I just do it blind? What do you guys think? And I have a question before we get off too.
Here we go. Here you go.
All right, I'm waiting.
Here it is. Former Vice President.
It is on X. Oh, okay. All right. All right. Let me pause it so I can, because it started before I.
Okay.
Here we go, and you should be able to hear it.
Legislators in defeating the Nunes plan in the basement said, "quote We already have a nigger mayor. We don't need any more nigger big shots."
Okay,
the court
Sean.
cited
What the? Oh,
well,
ouch!
Our president.
Yeah.
Had the name of the Democratic senator from the state of Delaware, Joe Biden, on that bill.
We do everything.
That nearly blew my eardrums out, guys. I was not expecting to hear that.
I mean, you got
Sorry,
the
guys.
first sort of mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and,
This was super racist.
and clean and a nice looking guy. I mean, that's a storybook, man.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
I spent last summer going through the black sections of my town, holding rallies in parks, trying to get black men to understand it's not unmanly to wear a condom, getting women to understand they can say no, getting people in the position where testing matters.
You voted for him?
I got tested for AIDS. I know Barack got tested for AIDS. There's no shame.
This is
in being
brutal.
for
You
AIDS.
guys, any of you guys vote for him?
He said in the first 100 days, he's going to let the
Who?
big banks once again right
I remembered some of this stuff.
unchain Wall Street. They're going to put you all back in chains.
Who most foreign policy experts around the world say is the wisest man in the Orient.
Large, very identifiable Somali community. I might add, if you ever come to the train station with me, you'll notice that I have great relationships with them because there's an awful lot of driving cabs. We have this notion
Jesus.
somehow if you're poor.
Man,
you
how long
cannot
is this,
do it.
Sean?
Holy
Poor
shit!
kids are just as
Only
bright and
halfway
just
through
as
it. Oh my
talented as
God.
white kids.
I don't know if I can
What
live. If I can
responsibility
make
do you
it.
think
horrendous.
that Americans need to take to repair the legacy of slavery in our country?
We bring social workers into homes of parents to help them deal with how to raise their children. It's not that they don't want to help. They don't know quite what to do.
I recognize that kid wearing a hoodie may very well be the next poet
Damn.
laureate and not a gangbanger.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
And by the way, what you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things.
Have you taken a cognitive?
No, I haven't taken the test. Why the hell would I take a test?
This is why freedom of
I'm not
speech
even a real-
should
Joe
never
Biden's
be
like saying you,
stopped.
before you got in this program, you take a test where you're taking
Well, yeah, we should
cocaine
hear
or
it,
not. What do you
right?
think, huh? Are you a junkie?
What do you see?
You see, geez, the reason I was able to stay sequestered in my home is because some black woman was able to stack the grocery shelf.
Oh
Young
my God.
black entrepreneurs are just as capable of succeeding given the chance as white entrepreneurs are. But they don't have more.
What kind of a chance would a northeastern liberal like Joe Biden stand in the South if you were running in Democratic primaries against Southerners like Mark Warner and John Edwards?
There's more.
better than anybody else. And you don't know my state. My
Damn.
state was a slave.
The left has convinced so many people that Donald Trump is racist, and in no way, shape, or form is Joe Biden racist at all. I would say that these clips say otherwise. So share it with your Democrat friends.
I watched a video of Al Sharpton just kissing Trump's butt. It wasn't even that. He was loving it.
Wow.
He was loving
That was
it.
intense, man.
He was like, Donald Trump cares about the black community. He's done this for us. He did this for our office. He did this for us. He did, and he didn't.
He needed they'd stop dividing us up by
tell people
demographic
about
like
it.
that again.
He said, "This man loves the black community." That I never saw that anywhere else. It was like some dude found it and posted it. It blew my mind. Jesse, I'm gonna say it sure. The Reverend Jesse Jackson. Same thing, dude. Same thing. He's like, he is such a good friend to us. He's done so much for us. Forget about Oprah and all the other stuff, but those two dudes, they were just loving on it, man. And you don't hear
that's the problem. That's the problem with tribalism. It makes it so easy to get people to hate each other. It's ridiculous.
So as long as there's an us, there's a them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Always. Yep. I don't know. It's horrible.
Well, and the crazy thing about that is like that long history was backed up by policy too. You can't forget that it wasn't just rhetoric. Literally, there were people still languishing in federal prison because of the legislation that this man wrote, and it was targeted not specifically, it was targeted racistly at communities that.
Yeah, they pushed drugs into those communities, and then Biden was there to make sure that they had the worst possible justice.
The dude's a fucking hypocrite.
Yeah, he's owned and evil. Yeah,
if he's not a hypocrite, he's an abject liar, which I think might be more likely. Well, I mean, now he's senile, so it's really easy to just be neither. But
yes, so
at one point,
so
he did do the State of the Union well. I personally think they were drugging the shit out of him, and that's why he was late half an hour. I think they were trying to, get it going, and I think that's also why he did selfies and took a long time getting down there to make sure everything was kicking in. And when he felt ready, and that's when he delivered his speech. And he spoke fine. He and this you're not going to want to hear this, but I think he's going to start doing much, much better. I think he's going to give Trump a run for his money.
Like I said,
yeah, I know
better
because what he did in the State of the Union, he was Trump. He was
everybody on 4chan was saying that was.
And then the media who was starting to turn against him, they were like, "Whoa, he is a firecracker!" And I think he's like, we gotta fix this border. He is going to run as Trump. That's what he's gonna do. Because that's what people want. People want those things, and they know that now. So
right, but he's going to have to. The downfall is that this time people will not want the imperial neo-colonial tinge on top of it. We don't want people. We don't want Trump, but pro-war.
The craziest thing
we want Trump anti-war, and that's not going to happen from Biden.
The thing that is unplanned, in my opinion, is that people aren't going to want Trump either anymore. Yeah. People are fed up with all the bullshit, and frankly, we want a freaking Caesar. We want someone who is Sulla. We want someone who's going to come in and wipe out the shit that's there. That's what everybody wants.
Today's the 14th or 15th. Beware the Ides of March.
That's not a good place to be.
Tomorrow. Okay, so I had one last question. So I'd announced on the Super Happy Dragon Lucky this morning that we're going to reveal the project that I've talked about a few times on Super Happy Dragon Lucky, and I wanted to check with you guys if you were okay if we did another separate reveal here. And I don't know if it would be at the beginning of the show, if it would be at the very end of the show. I don't know what you guys think we should do. So
I'm down for it either way.
Okay, we can decide.
Should we do it like all that's our whole current events?
I don't. What is next week's show? Oh, possibly. I mean, we could do kind of a mix. Is it? It's like, we'll show some. Maybe that we'll do that at the beginning of what was the current events, and then we can go into the actual, who knows? I'm sure Nuke's going to go
Because it could probably be a whole show by itself.
Maybe. Yeah.
We could even do we have to do that in the DAO? Like, do we have to make a proposal and then say, or we can call an audible? Don't we have a rule?
Audible?
Call an audible.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if anybody who has tokens says, no, we do not want that, I want my questions answered, you just post it and we'll vote on it. It's all good. But yeah, I think we just call an audible. That's why I was going to ask and see if you guys are comfortable with, and to make sure you're all here, so we can get some feedback.
I'm excited. I'll be here.
So, okay. All right. So this week, let's start with Lisa. What's going on this week?
So we just announced the Team Mighty event for 2024. Really excited. We'll be honoring my daughter, Mighty Mia, and we have another lady. She was my children's nanny, and she passed from cancer, and so we're going to honor her life and tell her story. And she had just a lot of love for kids, and a lot of people in our community as well. And then all the funds raised will go to a little boy named Mighty Miller that is currently, he's just finishing up, we hope, treatment in Tennessee, but his family's having to live in like 2 different places, and they're having a lot of financial hardship. And so we're excited to be able to honor Mighty Mia in that way. Nice. So that'll be 4/20, April 20th here in little old Edmond, Oklahoma. We're going to go to the Edmond Museum. Cannon calls it the Train Museum. That Cher Bear, our lady that we're honoring, used to take the kids to, and so it's a big community, small town kind of party. And the tickets are only $50 this year. Trying to help everybody make sure they can get here, and there will be an online auction as well. So
awesome. Sean, what is this week?
Happy St. Patrick's Day, because we're not gonna.
That's right.
That's on Sunday. Happy St. Patrick's Day Eve if y'all are gonna celebrate on Saturday night, which some people are because they're mad it's on a Sunday. Usual thing. Check us out on Tuesday on my channel, Lisa's channel, for Truth Tuesday. That's about it.
Well, when St. Patrick expelled all the snakes, did he not know that he should make sure he does it on a drinking day? Is there some type of mistake there?
Well, if you take communion, you drink every Sunday, right?
I guess so. Some places they can't drink the wine. I don't understand the politics behind that weird thing there. Greg,
it varies. Your mileage may vary. So my thing that I would like to say is, how awesome was it to watch SpaceX this morning? Who was impressed that after 3 iterations we finally got an orbital starship?
That's amazing.
So like, pretty fucking sweet, and that's why I still think it's a good plan C to get the hell out of here.
Yeah, that's true. We can leave all of the politicians behind and the lawyers.
Yep. Yeah, basically anybody who can't figure out how to get to Mars on their own, we probably don't want to take with us anyway.
I like it. Yeah, it's like taking a grain silo into space, isn't it? I mean, it's like
I know. It's like like a building. It's freaking nuts. Anyway,
unbelievable.
Congrats to the SpaceX team. You guys are.
I didn't get to watch it. I'm gonna have to go and watch it now. But okay. So for me, again, next week, cool stuff coming out. And make sure you watch that, and make sure you share this episode. The more you share, the more the hosts and topic contributors will get. Make sure you like and subscribe and everything else. And next week, so I have it right here. The theme next week is blockchains used for political polling and other surveys. So that'll be interesting. There's the thing that they don't want you to be able to do. It's like, no, vote harder, vote on paper only, vote harder. Anyway, that's it. So here, what should I play out? What do you guys think? Play almost anything. There's so many good things here. I'll play. What did I play on the way in? Was it
McAfee?
McAfee. Okay, I'll play it down on the way out. All right. See you guys next week. Thanks a bunch.
Because that will serve to organize and measure the best.
Adaptable, raw capital, label radical yet rational. A tactical approach is palpable if this animal is fallible, but that conclusion is laughable. So with for all detachable from the mandible, you see it now.